Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler. So, if I sound a little different, it's because I just woke up, but just haven't gotten out a video lately, and I figured I've held on to this knife as long as I should before reviewing it. Today we have the Civivi Dogma. It's got these interesting little contoured G10 scales, and it has, I forgot what this is called, but where they put the scales on top of the frame or the liner, and you could see the liner on the outside. I gotta look that up for you guys. I don't remember what that's called, but pretty cool little knife. I was a little irritated when it first came out because this is supposed to take over my backlash, but you know, that's just in theory, and we'll get into that discussion as we get through this. So just looking at this here, you got these nice contoured G10, semi-contoured. Then you got this little lanyard hole right here, which is nice to be in this corner. It's out of the way. It kind of looks even cooler because the G10 goes around the liner like that. As usual, a nice deep carry pocket clip. Little Civivi logo. Before we even open it, we'll take a look at this. So this, if this detent was not as tuned as it feels, this detent is on par, by the way. But this would kind of get irritating to flip. I fidget more than I freaking use my knife, but this would get more irritating to flip. But the detent is so perfect on this that you won't feel it. I picked up my Statera the other day. That was like, that's probably my second or third favorite Civivi knife. That knife's detent is way too weak. It doesn't latch in or anything like that, so I got to see if I can adjust that. I gotta look up some stuff because I don't know how to do that off the top of my head. But this one is perfect. Not only can you flick it, right? You can Spidey flick it. It's hard to get with the thumb, just because maybe my thumb's weird. But you can do the reverse flick. Like, I failed right there because I'm on video. Do the reverse flick. Alright, let's get into some specs. We'll do some comparisons, and then we'll talk a little bit about this knife and where this knife fits in the world of Civivi. At first, I thought it was super cool that Civivi's making all these knives. I mean, you get all these different types of knives. You get, and you're like, oh, this is so awesome. But it's starting to get to the point where I'm being, what's the word? You're just kind of drowning. Not only am I trying to purchase all these to review them and, going to take a small hit on selling them. That's not the deal. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy collecting. When you get a knife in and you really like it before you get it, and then you see it and you just kind of like it, or you see it and you really like it, and then you use it for a couple days, and you're kind of like, it's weird because you have this favorite knife. I've always had to keep reminding myself that the Backlash was my favorite Civivi. I fell for that knife when I first got it. Actually, false. When I first got it, the edge was dull. It had scratches on it. Blade HQ sent me somebody else's used shit, and I complained about it. They basically said sorry. So if you want to send it back. But it was the last one that they had at the time, so I was like, I'm not sending this thing back. Sharpened it up. It became my favorite knife. But I had to keep reminding myself with everything coming out that the Civivi was my favorite because I touched the Statera and I loved the Statera. I touched the Praxis. The Praxis was awesome. The Duros, I've been carrying that. That knife is never going anywhere. I freaking love the Duros. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we are getting so many Civivi knives that they need to slow down. We need to be able to appreciate the knives that they give us because at this point, I know it's a cash grab. I know the more you put out there, the more people like me are going to buy up and try to review, but I don't have time to appreciate the ones that I like. The ones that I love. I mean, so they need to slow down. That's a side topic. But so overall length on this guy is 7.75 inches from tip to end. Blade length, you're looking at a 3.5 inches. With the cutting edge, it says, oh yeah, because you got this, I couldn't see it through the camera. You got this nice little finger choil here with the cutting edge of 3.125 inches. The thickness on the blade, which is kind of hard to see because of the way this, it says it's a Bowie style knife because of this little dip down here, but I'm going to show you something else that you're going to it's going to kind of question it. This thickness is 0.12 inches This blade is a D2 blade with a hollow grind, and again, they say it's a Bowie style type blade. The handle width is 0.75 inches, and the handle thickness is 0.47 inches. This is G10, like I said, and the weight is 3.12 ounces. Give me a second here, guys. I'm sorry, like I said, just woke up, sinuses are a little crazy. So, what I want to talk about with this knife, where this knife fits into the world, once we get through the comparisons, what I do want you guys to understand is, while this is a 3.5-inch knife, I'm telling you guys, this thing feels smaller. Now, let me show you why. I'm going to bring this guy probably back out later on for the discussion. This is a shorter knife all around than the Backlash. And I don't have my phone available to check. But you can see it's like it's a 0.1 or 0.2 inches shorter in the blade, and it's about 0.1 or 0.2 shorter in the handle. The Backlash feels like a regular sized knife. This blade on the Dogma is fantastic. That hollow grind, it is so sliced. This is probably the sharpest knife I got right now in my possession. That's a side story again. But so while it feels small, remember that this is not a small blade. This is 3.5 inches. This is a full-size blade. That's a good thing for those of you who like the just the kind of feel of a knife. And how much does it say this weighs? 3.2. It meets the blade length to weight ratio. So that's another good thing for you guys. But it's a good thing for those of you who like carrying a smaller knife, right? Like you like getting the most out of your weighted knives and the most out of, your pockets and all that stuff. This fits really well in your pocket. I've said it before, and I feel like I keep saying it about things, and it's always a different context. I said it in the beginning, you don't feel 3.5-inch knives in your pocket. Some people do, some people don't. I wear work jeans. I work in a aluminum mill, so I don't feel them. But I'm telling you, this one, that one's been going around in my basketball shorts, and I'm not gonna say you can't feel it, but for the size of a knife that it is, I want you guys to really, really, really understand this concept. If you're looking for a full-size knife that has a compact feel, the Dogma's your guy. All right, he is a full-size knife with a compact feel. All right, back to the comparisons. I really want to talk about the Dogma. I really like this knife, and I struggle mentally in allowing it to climb into my top 3. That's why I struggle with this review. So we got the McKenna and the Backlash. That's a size comparison. Let's put the McKenna on top here just so you guys can really see what's going on there. Put this on top of the Backlash if I can get it to stand. And as you can see, barely in the blade length is it longer, and barely in the handle is it longer. So the Backlash is a larger blade, but it is also it's not attempting to be the compact knife that this really is. I'm going to take a look at something real quick. One more comparison. So look at these flipper tabs. While the Backlash is my favorite freaking knife, that flipper tab eats my face. This thing is ridiculous. And I think let's take a look right here. Can we see how this kind of angles up at the end? That thing eats my face. That thing sucks. I love my Backlash. It is my favorite Civivi. I hope it always will be. But that thing will give you finger fatigue like crazy. Now let's look. Maybe this is why the difference is. I'm not trying to make this go on. But you see how that curves up and you got like a little point at the end where you're going to eat your finger? This has some much larger jimping on it, which is aggressive. But this one has that point on the metal. Just to give you guys a perspective. That's why it sucks. Anyways. Don't talk that way about my Backlash. Alright, so we got the Tenacious and the PM2. Both, let's see if I can bring them closer to you guys. Both of those knives are about the same size as Tenacious and the PM2. But it just kind of gives you a frame of reference. I'm not. Shut up, all of you. I don't really. It's too early for you guys' crap. Now for a knife that should hold a spot in my heart forever, and one that definitely does. I made a comment about the Duros, especially when I was talking to boy Justin out there, and you know it's up against McKenna and the Civivi, you know, Battle for King, all that crap. But I started carrying them more, and that Duros, you know, you carry a smaller knife and you're like, it's great, it disappears in my pocket. But when I carry this guy and I pick it up and you just feel like you're holding like a big ass knife and it doesn't have the, at first it looks stupid, but this, you guys got to let this one grow on you. That guy's friggin' awesome. I think Justin said it's the fucking love child between the Backlash and the Praxis. Hilarious. And it's true. Hold on. I'm getting off topic all morning this morning. I don't really care. As Slicey or Metal say, it's my channel. I don't really give a damn. I'll do what I want. There's your love child. Oh, you dirty Praxis and Backlash. All right, back to the review. Okay, this is about the Dogma, not the Duros. So here's the Shredder, and here's the Duros. As you can see, the Shredder is a massive knife. I love the Shredder. It's not, it might be in my top 5, but it's not like, it's not my favorite, but it, you know, I like him. It was the first Civivi I ever owned, though. It kind of got me down this path, actually. So, all right, Dogma and the Shredder. Do we see something similar here? Now, I know you guys are going to tear me apart when you go into technicalities and stuff, but look at that. If the Dogma did not have any of the Shredder DNA in it, I would be surprised. I would more than likely see, he said the love child between the Backlash and the Praxis. Oh no, if that's the love child of the Backlash and the Praxis, this is a love child of the Shredder and the Backlash. That means my Backlash is a really dirty girl. She's getting around. She gotta stop that shit. And last but not least, Rat Model 1 with the ProTech Newport. I love how I'm too cheap to go buy a Rat Model 2, but I bought a ProTech Newport to use as my small size comparison with everything. That seemed a little ass backwards to me, but anyways, here we are. So, I didn't buy it for the size comparison. I bought it because I wanted the knife, and it just ended up being a good small reference of knife, right? Shut up. That gives you an idea. So if you look at the Newport, let's get rid of this because go back with the other rats. Put them back in the cage. If you look at the size of the Newport in this, they look really similar, right? But that Newport is a much smaller knife. I mean, size-wise, I'm not talking style-wise at all, so don't be like, oh, they look similar. No, size-wise, those are pretty similar looking in size. That's a really good comparison, actually, for you guys. Give me 1 second. Let me take a look through what I got to see if there's anything that you guys might be able to compare this to in size. Let's try the Elementum. Actually, you want to talk about some DNA? Give me a second here. Oh, never mind. Lies. There's a good size comparison for you. It is not much larger than the Elementum. But once again, I am telling you, this is a 3.5-inch knife, which most people consider to be large or a full-size knife. So, that's the benefit of this thing, guys. You have this really compact, full-size knife, and it feels dense, but it's still light. It's 3.2 ounces. This blade is this could have easily been sold as the mini shredder type of blade. The blades are the exact same, right? You got your little thumb hole. This one's a little bit easier to access because it goes up like this. You know, basically it would have taken this little bowie part up. They call this a bowie because this clips down like that, but they call this a drop point just because that goes straight. That's the only difference between the two. Otherwise, it's like they're the exact same knife, one smaller. So it could have been called the mini shredder, realistically, and it could have got away with it because that would be Actually, other than the Dogma, I think the Mini Shredder is probably a cooler version of that. That's probably what we're gonna call this, the Mini Shredder from now on. That's really it. I'm not gonna kind of drone on anymore. This is the Civivi Dogma. Now, is this? Oh, that's what I want to talk about at the end. Does this replace my backlash? For all you fuckers out there, does this replace my backlash? No, it does not. They are two very different knives. I think the rumor potentially started for me when I was watching Slicey Dicey's channel, and I think he was reviewing it, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been one of the big three for me. The big three is Metal Complex, Slicey, and Nick Shabazz. Now Super Steel Steve. That dude's freaking hilarious. But one of them said that, I feel like this is a replacement for the backlash. No. No friggin' way. Because they're two different knives. You're getting two different things out of them. Are they a similar size? For sure. But look at how many other knives they got out there. They got friggin' 50 other knives in their lineup. So, they're not replacing this with this. My worries are gone. After holding it, carrying it, and realistically, the Dogma is a fantastic knife. It is one of that I am forcing myself to grab, so it irritates me that I have to grab it in the mornings to go to work, because I want to pick out which one I want to wear. So I always have my Manix 2 with me, but then I'm like, I got to carry my Dogma and get used to this. So I wear carpenter jeans, by the way, so you got plenty of holes and pockets to friggin' stuff knives into. I'm not that guy. I usually carry 2 with me. I started... never mind. But yeah, this isn't replacing this. It just isn't. This is so much of a legendary knife within the Civivi world. I can honestly, and this is not starting rumors, I could honestly see them, instead of getting rid of it, doing something friggin' cool with it, right? Like copper scales, or, if they, oh man, think about this. What if they started picking the bigger Civivi ones and coming out with the steel instead of D2? What if they dropped it like with, okay, you can get this knife with SV30 or S30V, S35. Like, wow, right? Or CPM 154, 154. Those types of things. I don't really want to see a SV20, 30, or 2090 or 110, but those are overkill. I'm not going to pay for a Civivi with a M390 in it. And actually, after watching Super Steel Steve, I don't know that I'm really going to go after super high-end steels anymore. I think I'm content with the S30Vs and the S35s. Anyways, I'm droned on long enough. You are not getting replaced, my beautiful bastard. And you know what? How can you? Yes, you have the finger choil in there, and you can do this. But this, to bear down on, the only knife in Civivi's lineup to bear down on better than the backlash. Don't hate me for continuing to do this, guys. The friggin' Duros. This thing you can... But to bear down on a knife, the backlash you can bear down really well on. The Duros, obviously, I think is my number one if you want to grip it. Probably best Duros. And this one is third or fourth. You can really grab it, bear down on it. But then again, none of these knives are really something that you're going to pry or anything with. They're super dainty. I didn't get into that, but this tip is stupid dainty. Blade is gorgeous. Kind of doubling back on myself just so you guys can see it. Finger smudges. So that's about it, guys. As I told you in one of my previous videos, I'm going to kind of give you little snippets of what I intend to do. So currently on the horizon, we have the quest for the King Civivi. I believe the first matchup is my Praxis versus the Statera, which hurts my brain, hurts my heart. Love both of those knives. And actually, I think I'm loving the Statera a little less just because of that detent. I got to work on that detent because it's so... I can damn near just pop it open just by knocking it. So I got the quest for the King Civivi. That should be coming up within the next week. I'm going to knock out a bunch. My last review, other than the Bull Mastiff, which I do not have my hands on yet, I do not believe it is out yet. And I don't have a date for it dropping. But I have to do a review on the Plethoros. I can say it has a lot of good qualities, but it is not there. So I also talked about uniting the folding knife nuts against the counterfeit and clone knives. I have a plan for that, guys. I am going to show you all how to do it. And we need to do it together, because doing it together, if we unify and do this week by week and do these cool things, we can shut down the freaking clone market. Or at least the guys that are out there, we can shut them down. And the new ones will pop up. We'll go after them too. I'll show you guys how to do it. It's kind of cool. I think it's cool. Maybe it's childish. Who knows? But I think it's fun. So that's another thing that we're going to do. And then the last thing we were going to do, which I was going to talk about, and I totally forgot what I was going to say. Shit. Sharpening videos. I told you before I'm a pretty amateur sharpener, and I still hold true to that. But recently I have, just through attrition of working, watching Super Steel Steve, watching a couple other guys sharpen, I have myself figured out how to really get that hair-splitting sharpness to a knife. And it doesn't require anything nuts. So I want to do a couple videos on basics, what I've learned. I mean, really, it's not really going to be watching me sharpen as much as telling you guys what I've learned and demonstrating that. So, when you guys pick up your stones, why sharpening by hand is just so much fun. Get into it, figure it out, because it is so gratifying to do. You want to use your knives because you want them to go dull, because you want to sharpen them. It's kind of cool. But I will teach you guys kind of what I've learned along the way. Obviously, I cannot duplicate, not the splitting a hair, I can do that, but like when they, I'm not at the point where I can duplicate my results to the exact thing that I want every time, but I am at the point where I can get hair splitting action every time, where I can literally just run it down my arm without any pressure and it takes off all the hair. It's pretty cool. Until you look at my arm and you're like, what the fuck? But yeah, so I'm going to be doing those. So if you guys are interested in those, let me know, comment in the bottom. Let me know what you're thinking. If you guys watch this whole video, because I droned on kind of long, I apologize for droning on, but, we got a lot of stuff in the works, and I don't get a video out every day. Eventually I will. I'm kind of buying time right now, because I know my Bull Mastiff has to come in. I need to get that fucker on order. I don't know when they're dropping, but it is part of the tournament, and I want it part of the tournament, because that is a unique knife. And I got to get you guys the Plethros review. The reason I don't have that out yet is because the Plethros irritates the shit out of me. Just when you start liking it, you find a reason not to. And we'll go into that. I didn't friggin' talk about this. Hold on. The Dogma, so all of you jackasses know, and you can't Google it in the last 30 seconds, the Dogma costs like $48. I just looked it up. I realized it was under $50. I'm like, holy shit, that's cool. All right, there you go. There's your review. All right, guys, have a good day. Stay safe. Stay corona-free. Enjoy your riot gear that you guys went out in New York and Chicago and stole, you little thieves. Don't cut yourselves, because they're not cut. Boom, they're all healed, and have a good day.